We are looking at biodiversity. We visited the Department of Parks and Wildlife here at Abuko, and equally we will dissect the current ecosystem situation in the Abuko Nature Reserve. With me, I have a senior officer from the Department of Parks and Wildlife, who is Kausu Jamme, equally the focal person for biodiversity for the department. Good day, Mr. Jame, and welcome to the program.
Good day, Mr. Mani GRTS.
Today we are here at your end to see what is available and what is not when it comes to the biodiversity in Abuko Nature Reserve, and what is your department doing to conserve the available ones we have. Can you tell us what changed in this nature reserve?
Thank you. First, I want to say thank you. We are happy to associate with JRTS in your Climate Watch program, and we welcome you to DPWM. Actually, as you know, that there are a lot of issues in the world right now, including climate change. And because of climate change, it has a lot of impact on biodiversity, on ecosystem and other kind of biodiversities, like species, for example, wetlands, like gallery forests. Abuko Nature Reserve happened to be in one of the most densely populated areas in the country. And being in that kind of location and also connected to the coastline, the marine and coastal ecosystem, it is very vulnerable. Vulnerable in the sense that communities living around the area are impacting the resources, but also climate change is impacting the resources. So in so many ways. So definitely, there are a lot of changes in terms of amount of birds that are visiting the park, in terms of the ecosystem. There used to be a lot of tall trees in Abuko Nature Reserve, now they are not. We used to have a lot of birds coming to, freshwater birds coming to Abuko Nature Reserve, like spoonbill, openbill stock. That's not the case anymore. We used to have floof tail. That's not the case anymore. And if you look at the ecosystem itself, we used to have a lot of antelopes. Well, I am not saying we don't have antelopes now, but they seem to be rare. So Abuko Nature Reserve is not given the required attention it should be given in terms of financing its maintenance, financing its development. That all are all factors that contribute to what we observe as changes in Abuko Nature Reserve right now.
Yeah, we took a walk around the reserve, and we saw a few hyenas and chimpanzees and red monkeys. Can you tell us more on those wildlife that are available?
Yes, actually Abuko Nature Reserve was initiated in 1968. It was designed to be an education center. Education center in the sense that it can have an orphanage where we can, anytime we confiscate or capture animals from people or from places that are wounded, we can keep them in the orphanage and help them to rehabilitate. So it's a kind of rehabilitation center. That being the case, you don't expect to find a lot of animals in the orphanage. But as wildlife managers, we expect to have a lot of animals in the forest, which is really happening. We have colobus monkey, we have duikers, we have antelopes, we have many kind of small ruminants. We also have other kind of monkeys like vervet monkey. So, and we have a lot of insects, all are counted as biodiversity. We also have a lot of forest birds, which are the things that we are managing right now, and the ecosystem, the forests that inhabit them are the ones we are managing right now. If you look at the forest, we still have more than 150 types of trees in Abuko Nature Reserve, which shows a real diversity that, we really have a good diversity in Abuko Nature Reserve. But it is mounted with so many problems and so many factors around it. We went around, you have seen 9 football fields in the sanctuary, which are illegal. They are not supposed to be. But we find it really difficult to, chase away youths from using those areas. And when they come in there, they climb on our fences and jump into the park. Abuko Nature Reserve actually is faced with a lot of problems. These problems have something to do with institutional capacity also. We are paramilitary, but we don't have guns. We are not trained to look like paramilitary. If we are trained to look like paramilitary, we could have prevented youths from using the park, cutting trees and clearing areas for football. We could have stopped this dumping that is going on around and every year resulting to burning of the park. But the capacity of the department itself is certain. And I think government and other stakeholders need to see wildlife department positively. We are not seeing the department positively. That is one of our problems. Go to Tanzania, and Tanzania is far. Go to Senegal. So many tourists are going to Senegal. Some are going to Fatala, some are going to Banja because they have animals there. Can't our government see our department as a positive investment that can give government a lot of revenue and that can give our youth a lot of jobs instead of forcing themselves to be for all of them to become footballers and playing in our area? Every time coming inside, cutting firewood, every time coming inside, stealing kaba, Saba Senegalenses, food that is supposed to be there for animals. There are a lot of things that are happening. If you look at them, they are all interlinked. They are all connected. But my suggestion is that we need to see this estate positively, invest in it, and ensure that we are creating a lot of revenue for our country, bringing a lot of tourists in our country, creating a lot of jobs for our youths.
In our days, during our school days, we do visit Abuko Nature Reserve. We saw lion and lioness, but there are no more. What can be done in that regard?
That's the thing I am talking about. Just give you an example, there was a project here called Eagle Height. They brought 2 cheetahs and 2 lions. Those lions, that year, brought a lot of tourists here. They make a lot of money out of that. The department was only getting a percentage. Why is it that Gambia government cannot provide financing to bring just 2 lions and 2 cheetahs? We manage them here and have a lot of tourists coming to see the national park. Then we can levy a fee of $5, $10, $15. Ask the gatekeeper how much fee they are asking for. $35 fee? It is an embarrassment to ask for $35 fee for tourists to come inside. Even the tourists are complaining about it. Why? This is an estate that is giving countries a lot of money. Tanzania is making more money from wildlife management than money they are making from natural resources. So this is an extraordinary resource that we can make the best use of.
In terms of supplementing their feeding in the reserve, we did spoke to some nearby that they did express their concern over the animals scaling over the fence, intruding their compounds, eating their vegetables. What strategy or what plans did you have in that regard?
They are right. We have local people coming from all the way in Birkama, coming from Serekunda, going inside this park, harvesting Saba Senegalensis, locally called Kaba. They harvest it, as the guy said, they keep it inside. Early in the morning, they come and take it to the market. 2 things he said I can remember, that they are not ripe, and when you force them to get ripe, it can cause disease. That is one. Importantly for me is that these animals in the park depend on those resources. When you harvest them, now you are forcing animals to get out of the park, go to communities and try to harvest their vegetables, as one of them said. Harvest their vegetable, walk on their rooftops. They are destroying the property of the local people, and local people are killing them. That is not the essence of wildlife management. This wildlife can be conserved. We went to India, me and my friend, to a park called Desert National Park. There is only 1 bird space, but almost 1 million tourists are going there yearly to go to see that bird. Why can't we make the best use of wildlife we have in the country? They are not waste. They can give the country a good number of resources. But as I said, Abuko Nature Reserve is the mother of conservation in the Gambia. Conservation starts with Abuko Nature Reserve. We need to invest money into Abuko Nature Reserve. Well, yes, according to our strategies, we can work with investors. They can come, they can work in the protected areas, build hotels, bring animals. But I'm saying, government can do this and take 100% of the profit. It is possible. Government can do it and make 100% of the profit. But do you know why? We struggle even to get projects now. Everyone thinks that wildlife is not important. I don't know what kind of education we are getting from our schools, but here we think wildlife is not important. So even whereas there is an investment that we can grab and invest in our protected area, create jobs, create revenue for government, people are not interested in that. You know what they are interested in? Using cane saw, cutting trees and making money right now. We are not planning the future. We are planning what we can get right now. But the population of this country is growing. Look at the evolution. 1901, it was 90,000. 1965, it was 300,000. 2020, it is 2 million. 2030, it will be 4 million. What are we going to depend on now? Our country's population is increasing, but our resources is dwindling. What are we going to depend on now? The tourists that we say, oh, tourism is our market, tourism is everything. Beach, sand, tourism is a thing of the past. Nobody wants to waste his money just to come and sleep in the hotel. When you get up, you go and lie under the sun around the beach. You don't have a beach anymore. With climate change, the entire beach of this country is going away. Go to Nyomi National Park, the entire beach is gone. A hotel called Madiana is in the middle of the sea. Go to Burfoot area, the beach is gone. Go to Alahain area, the beach is gone. We're no longer going to get any beach in this country. The only thing we have is our forest and the animals inside our forest. And we should do away with cutting all our forests. Look at what's going on right now. Look at the amount of disaster in the country. Wildlife Department is only privileged to have 23 protected areas covering about 93,000 hectares compared to 1,131,000 hectares. You can imagine. We have only 93,000 hectares protected compared to 1,131,000 hectares. So the whole of Gambia is out for grabs. Anybody can go anywhere and destroy whatever they want to destroy. So I'm thankful for those who are helping the department to establish more protected areas, but we need more. We need the government to do more so that we make the best use of these protected areas. They only don't have to be paper parks. Oh, we have a park in Abuko, but in Abuko Nature Reserve, there is nothing there. No tourists is coming here. You walk around this area without a tourist. I remember 20 years ago, any single day in your life you come here, you find tourists. Any type of the day, any type of the night, time of the night, any time of the day, you find tourists inside because attraction is inside. If there is no attraction, no one is coming.
Mr. Jame, this is worrying. You made mention of only 93 protected areas, and you did mention parks. In those other parks or areas, protected areas, what ecosystem goods and services are there?
Actually, we have, in the Gambia, we have marine and coastal. We determined that as one kind. And we also have terrestrial and inland. We determined also that as one kind. Right from Kuntaur right now to here is where you have the mangrove belt. That is what we consider as coastal and marine area. And right from there upwards is terrestrial and inland water where you have fresh water. Most of the protected areas are within the coastal and marine. Of the 9% or 8.6%, almost 6 to 7% is within this area. Only 0.5% is within the terrestrial and freshwater area. It is Kiang West National Park, Abuko Nature Reserve, Tanje Bird Reserve that has a good composition of forests. The rest are mangrove areas, except for River Gambia National Park and Badari, some community protected areas, which are freshwater areas and some kind of gallery forests you can find. So what we are trying to do as a department is to ensure that every ecosystem in this country is represented very well in the protected area regime, in the protected area estate. But as I said, it is better to have protected areas, which is good because now the best forests you can find in this country are only found in wildlife managed protected areas, not in forest parks, not in community forest areas. You can only find 2 or 3 community forest areas that are attractive. The rest are being turned into estates, particularly those around the combos. I will have to say this. I thank these civil society organizations because every now and then I am reading from the Facebook that, they are uprising against turning of those community forests into estates. What is the government doing when estate holders are taking over community forest parks?
Maybe there is no land management use policy.
I don't know, but since these areas are designated by the parliament, we need to respect the law of the country. Something that is designated by a law and by the parliament, enacted by the parliament, should be respected because it is our law that protects it. We cannot be a country that do away with its own laws that we create ourselves. It's not correct. When we say an area is a protected area or is a community forest, it is a community forest. If you want to change it, you must follow the due process. That is the law. We are not against government changing management regimes of areas, but they need to follow due process because there is a law. Every man in a country is governed by the law. everything in the country is governed by the law. So anything that is happening in our country should be governed by the law. Then we should follow the law.
We have seen that the reserves or protected areas you've mentioned, where we have these wildlife, been transformed, not modified. We know the present OIC where it is located used to be Monkey Park, and it's no more. And through grapevine, people are trying to, say in some quarters that the remaining part of it is trying to be the reserved. What is your feeling on that, and how worrying is our wildlife when it comes to those areas?
We're really concerned about that. The fact is that the amount of monkeys and other animals living in those areas, where are they going to go? They're going to live in the hotels, in the trees, in the communities, everywhere. And if that happens, right now we are getting a lot of complaints about, monkeys in my garden, monkeys in my compound. Our guys are always going and catching snakes in people's house. You cannot imagine how snakes can get into those places, because the place for snakes are being taken over. The place for monkeys are being taken over. Now monkeys are moving to areas that are not meant for them, and that are creating another menace. You understand? This is not right. We have a lot of areas, we have a lot of space. Government need to be very strategic. Physical planning and any other institution that is responsible of allocating land or managing land should know that when it is protected areas, we mean a forest. But when it is a hotel, we mean another area where there is not a virgin forest. When it is a settlement, we need an area which is perhaps part of cultivation areas before. It should be settlements expanding, but not new settlements in the middle of the forest. And shouldn't government put a lot of money in protecting most of these forests? Most countries are working very hard. Countries that we think are rich are managing their parks very well. I am telling you one thing. Life is changing here so drastically because we are losing our forests, because we are losing our forest resources. How much now are people spending to buy firewood to cook their food? Initially, if you live in Gunjur 10 years ago, you need no money to cook your food, but now you need money to cook your food. Why? And if the whole of Gunjur area, the whole of Kombo is taken over, there is no forest anymore. Poor people living in these communities, how are they going to survive? How is life going to treat them? Are they even going to get enough to get fuel wood? Are they even going to get enough to buy food with these rising prices? We need to think beyond, outside the box. When I say outside the box, what I'm saying is, let's not sit here and think that, well, today is okay, tomorrow is okay. This year I don't have any problem. How about next year? How about years coming? Not only you. Biodiversity is for your generation and generations that are not born yet. What will happen? Life was much easier 5 years ago than today. It will be much more difficult 5 years later than today. So it's time that we prepare ourselves, that we make better strategies and build a better country. Building nice houses, building roads, building hotels, putting water everywhere is not an end to our problem. We must think about our basic needs. The basic needs are what interlink us with our environment. This is why we cannot survive without our environment. Knowing that we cannot survive without our environment, we need to do our maximum. We need to do everything we can. And environment is something we should put at the forefront of national development. I challenge every area of environment. We've seen a lot of Chinese coming here, catching fish. Catching fish is not our problem. Having business with Chinese is not our problem, but catching schooling fish, juvenile fish, is our problem. And we will say this. And we have to tell the decision makers to know that our future is uncertain in terms of fisheries, because we will have no fish in 10 years if the trend that we are in now continues.
Yeah, we come to the wetlands. You talked about mangroves, and it play a pivotal role in reducing or minimizing or mitigating soil intrusion. How is the state?
Well, yes, we are doing very well. So I thank so many actors, so many government projects for contributing to mangrove restoration, managing wetlands again, and bringing our wetlands back. Because since 1970, we lose a lot of our mangrove ecosystem. But in the last 10 years, from 2012, there has been a lot done in this country. but it's counterproductive. If we are planting mangroves at the other area, and the other area we are destroying something else. Because yes, we are planting 1 million mangrove, but we are cutting 3 million trees. And the mangrove you plant today, before it provides the goods and services you require, will take a little bit of time. But an adult tree that you harvest today, you are losing a lot of carbon, one. You are also losing a lot of goods and services as human beings. Look at the amount of disaster. I'm telling disaster department also to get up and create preventive methods. Helping disaster victims will not solve our problem. We want a cohesive, collaborative strategy that all of us can apply, bring our forest back, prevent disaster from happening. But if we allow the forest to disappear and we are not talking about that, we are encouraging more disaster. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't make sense. Government need to come together, strategize their strategies. Government departments don't need to stand alone just because of selfish interests. It is not taking us anywhere. I am bold enough to say this. I'm an environmental educationist. So what I'm saying is true, that myself and everyone else need to do positive strategies that contribute to the development of this country by advancing our environment, protecting our environment, making our environment a business-like conservation initiative that can give a lot of jobs for our rising youth population, that can create a lot of revenue for our country, that can create a lot of benefit for local communities. You know that conservation is giving a lot of benefits. We do village banking, we do vegetable gardens, we do conservation tillage. Go and see some of the best projects you can see in the field are done by wildlife projects. Why are we doing that? We have to impact poverty. If we can't reduce poverty, then we cannot reduce the pressure on natural resources. But if we also eliminate the entire natural resources, we are promoting poverty. Land will have no fertility, there is no free access resources, there will be less rain, wind will be destroying everything we have, our animals will have no feed, then we are promoting poverty. So creating balance between poverty or between the welfare of the people and biodiversity is the main goal of this institution. This is why we are encouraging everyone to look at the strategies we are applying. We should build strategies that make sense, that are apropos.
Thank you very much, Kausu, for those insightful and productive message to the general public. Before we join Amadou Sonko, the manager of parks, to give us the situation of the animals at his end, can you give us your last messages?
All I have is, as an environmental educationist, is to tell the population of this country that the responsibility of protecting our forests, our biodiversity, our wetlands, let me say it in this way for people to understand, but when you say forest, they think you're talking about forestry department. I'm talking about the ecosystem. The responsibility is the responsibility of all citizens and everyone else who live in this country. Whatever we do, collectively, individually, we should put environmental issues at the forefront of national development. We are developing this country not only for ourselves, but also for our children and also for generations yet to come. Building good roads, building big buildings is fine. But what we depend on to meet our ends, what we depend on to survive is the most important thing. Our land, our forest, our wetland, our fish, our wildlife, our businesses. These are some things we need to put attention to. Whether you are a parliamentarian, you are a government minister, you are a layman, you are a farmer, whatever you are, you have a role, you have a responsibility.
Thank you very much, Kausu, and we will go straight to Amadou Sonko to explain to us what are some of the animals or the species that we have at the forest park as we speak.
Yeah, basically, before, like when I was even going to school, I came here for an excursion and I was lucky to found like lions here and then some chimpanzees here. But now we're left with only hyenas, baboons, and then a few patas monkeys. Though we have other monkeys like western red colobus monkeys and then western red colobus monkeys and then calatrix monkeys in the wild. There are a lot here, they're abundant here. But at animal orphanage here, we're left with only a few, like 12, 13 hyenas, and then 4 baboons, and then 6 red patas monkeys. And then these red patas monkeys are confiscated from people, like people kept them as pet, which is against the rules and laws of the Gambia. So anywhere we came across them, like we do go there, we have a team here. That team will go there and then confiscate them and brought them here. So we keep them here for a rehabilitation purpose, mostly 1 year, 6 months, then we free them. So the lions which were here are dead naturally. And then the chimpanzees have been moved to River Gambia National Park to be in a very comfortable area, because they were in a cage here which was very bad for them. So that's the reason why they moved them. So hyenas, their population is growing, and then the baboons, just a few months back, we released like I think 6 of them in Badibu National Park. We have a national park in Badibu. They were released there.
And can you tell us what are some of the challenges you face with in managing this wildlife?
Yeah, basically the park is surrounded by 5 communities, and then it's in the heart of the city. And then all those communities, they have their eye in the park, because there are natural resources here, like food, firewood, and stuff like that. And also we are encountering illegal dumping, because we have many dump sites in the park, which is very bad for the park, because sometimes it even causes bushfire. And then we also have like more than 5, 6 football fields which have been created here illegally. And then it has affected us a lot, because it makes movement for intruders easily, because they will say that we are coming to the field, we are coming to support the football, or we are going to watch football. Then from there they will just enter, because it makes everything easier for them to have access.
Are tourists coming to visit, and maybe indigenous Gambians, and how is the revenue base?
Yeah, you can't compare it to like 5, 6 years ago, because due to this pandemic also affected them. But we are having them. The number has been minimized. It has been very low, but they are coming. And then the Gambians also are coming. Yeah.
What other support would you want to need from authorities, more especially government, to make sure that this nature reserve is improved?
Yeah, all we want is like to reintroduce other animals, like wild animals, lions, cheetahs, giraffes, and other animals. That will attract the visitors. Yeah, that will attract the visitors. And then when we have that here, we will have a lot of visitors, and the government will generate a lot of income out of it.
That was Amadou Sonko, the manager of the park reserve, where we saw few monkeys, hyenas. They have been rehabilitated by the Abuko Nature Reserve under the Department of Parks and Wildlife. Earlier, you had a senior officer from the Department of Parks and Wildlife. Equally, is the focal person for biodiversity for the department, who is Kausu Jamme, with an insightful message for all of us to take responsibility to conserve and preserve our environment. This is your program, Climate Watch. Join us again next Thursday. I am Usman Mane, the producer, and the program coordinator is Suma W. Jadama. Thanks to my camera operator, Samsidin